movie so much that it was fantastic. When was the first time that you heard about the film and your sort of first impressions of what you thought it could be?
Well, Rian Johnson, the writer-director, and I have been friends for a long time. I was in his first movie called Brick, and we made really good friends back then. And it wasn't long after we finished shooting Brick that Rian started telling me about this time travel idea that he had. So it's been years that he and I have been having conversations about this story. Yeah. And I first saw a draft of the script, 3 years ago, something like that, which is really extraordinary. Normally an actor sees a script several months before you start shooting. So this movie is really particularly near and dear to me, and it feels great to watch it coming together in such a big way.
Yeah, no, it's such a great movie, and you exec produce it as well, so you've got that involvement in it as well.
Yeah.
How have you seen Rian sort of change from the directing in Brick to Looper?
He's grown, obviously. He's older and wiser, I guess, but I think the similarities are more striking than the differences. He's still just focused on making a movie that he thinks is cool. And that's what it was on Brick. We had no idea if anybody was ever going to see Brick. We were just making this tiny little movie and we thought was cool. But when we were making Looper, yeah, we knew people were going to see it. It's a Bruce Willis movie. It's a bigger thing. But he wasn't focused on that. He was focused on the same thing that he always used to be focused on Brick. It's just, let's just make a movie that we think is cool. And I think you can tell when you watch a movie like that where the artist is in charge and not the money people.
Yeah, you play a young version of Bruce Willis. What was that like for you, getting in the prosthetics every day to actually playing this iconic actor?
Yeah, well, I think when I first heard that Bruce liked the script and was going to do the movie, that was obviously just a huge victorious moment for us. And followed up by a little bit of dread. I was like, how am I going to actually do this? But once Bruce arrived and we met and got to know each other, it really got a lot easier. And it was just a matter of spending the time with him and studying his movies and stuff, and made it work.
Was there one in particular, one Bruce Willis film that you watched that could sort of give you the idea of how to play him?
The one I probably watched most was Sin City, actually. Partially because it's more recent, and partially because I just really like that movie. And I guess also partially because it's got that kind of noir thing, and because he does a lot of voiceover in it, and there's a lot of voiceover in Looper. So I guess that one.
Yeah, cool. I've loved the choices of films that you've done, from indies to the bigger stuff.
Thank you.
How do you pick the films that you want to do? So obviously this one was, you were in it from the beginning and you were always going to be doing it, but how is it that you choose these roles?
Well, I'm lucky that I get to be picky, and that wasn't always the case. I've been doing this for a long time now, and for a long time I would just take whatever role. If someone gave me a part, I was like, wow, great, I get to work. And in recent years I've gotten to be choosy, and that's really fortunate. I just focus on two things: the filmmaker and the script. That's it. If I'm inspired by the script, if I feel a real connection to the filmmaker, good. And I try not to pay attention to any of the other factors that some people, I don't know.
The whole supporting cast is fantastic, but one of the ones who blew me away was the character who plays Sid.
Yeah.
Pierce, he's so good. I was just chatting with Ryan, he was only 5 years old when he shot.
Yeah, Pierce Gagnon.
How was the acting opposite him?
It's fantastic. He's a really strong actor. And even though he was 5 years old when we shot it, I believe kid actors can actually be the best actors in a certain way, because they're not saddled with the same self-consciousness and baggage that we old people are. And by the way, it's worth noting, he's nothing like that. He's a really sweet, fun-loving kid. He's not blowing people's heads up with his mind or anything.
Good, glad to hear it. I've got to wrap up, but can you tell us what you're up to next? I know you've got Lincoln coming up with Spielberg.
Lincoln is coming up. It's a brilliant movie. I just got to see it. Daniel Day-Lewis is unbelievable in it, and it's a really smart script. I don't know if you know the playwright Tony Kushner that wrote the script. It's really specific and really quite smart. It's not just a big Go America patriotic biography of a president. It's specifically about the really 1 month period where they were trying to pass the 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution to end slavery, and it's brilliant. I love it.
Well, I can't wait to see that, and I can't wait for people to see Looper. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, man.
Nice one. Cheers.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Good talking to you.